Hello, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today's writing prompt for your listener challenge is reflect on a moment of clarity or wisdom you experienced today and how did it come about? And I'm going to be talking about the song How to Save a Life by the Fray. So I wanted to talk about this because I was listening to my music and this song came up it might have been the second song that I listened to this morning. And I was like, oh, that's a doozy. So I thought, well, I'm just going to talk about it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about it. So I thought, what better place than to talk to you people about it? So I think it's going to be a bit somber, and there is a possibility that I might cry. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe not. I'm having a hard time crying these days. But I want to talk about the song because it gives me this ache. It's always left me with this ache in my chest and in my, a lump in my throat. And again, the song is How to Save a Life by the Fray. And what it makes me think about is reflections on conversations that I've had in my life, or conversations that I wish that I had in my life. And that helplessness that you feel when maybe something happens that you feel like you could have done something. Whether it is something like somebody passes away, somebody takes their own life, somebody passes away from alcoholism or addiction, or you lose a friend, like the song talks about. There's all different ways that we can lose a friend. And I think it's human to think that there's something that I could have done to alter somebody else's path, that I could have said something, or I could have, there's times when you're like, well, if I just wouldn't have turned left right there, my entire life trajectory would have been different, I think it's human to do that. So I have a couple examples, and one I think is, these two are the ones that are the heaviest for me. One is I recall reaching out to somebody important in my life just weeks before he took his life. And I was caught in my own alcoholism. I was wrestling with my own pain, and I couldn't stop drinking. But I knew that this person was also in pain. And so I reached out to him and I said to him, don't give up. And the last thing he ever said to me was a text. He said, thanks, Rachel. He didn't respond to what I was saying, didn't elaborate, he just said thanks. And I sent him a picture of my kids with him and just hoping to provide some sort of warmth, some sort of, I guess, gravitational pull towards family and love. But I'm sure that my voice at that time was just more noise inside his head, and in his despair. And unfortunately, he took his life. And then there was another friend who I remember driving into work one morning, and I lived out in West Virginia. I was driving into work on Route 7, and I remember coming down the mountain on Route 7, not the mountainside, but I was right coming into Leesburg, where you can see, if those of you who know where I'm talking about, when you look up and you're coming down the last hill before you get to Leesburg, if you look forward, you can see Leesburg and you can actually see the airport. It almost feels like you are coming in for a landing. Like that's how you are right at that plane of the airport landing. And I thought to myself, because I knew this other individual, I knew he had been struggling. I had heard um, folks explaining to me some of the suffering and, hiding alcohol and not being able to quit. And I was coming in and I thought I couldn't have been more confident. I thought he's going to die. I was sure. I was sure he was going to die. And he didn't die right away, but he did pass away. He did end up passing away. And it's like being in a car. It's like being stuck in a car with the accelerator jammed and you're heading for a wall and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I know I couldn't have done anything. I know that. My relationship with this person at that time was not one that I would have even felt comfortable reaching out to him directly. So what I was doing was checking on him through other friends. And why did I let that discomfort keep me from contacting him? That's some of the things that I think about now. It was a disaster waiting to happen, and I didn't do anything about it. I knew the answer. I was in sobriety, and I didn't think there was anything I could do. And what this song makes me think about is I would have done anything, but yet I didn't, you know? Again, there's nothing, I know intellectually, there's nothing I could have done to change him, to change his ideas and his mind. My only thing that I could have done is plant more seeds, but he was the one that would have had to water them. And this song makes me think about those critical junctures, in my life. And these are two of the heaviest for me. But there are so many other pivotal points where I choose an action or lack of an action, and it impacts the forever way forward in my life. I've lost a lot of friends for a lot of different reasons. Some because I played the lead role in destroying forever our relationship due to my own selfishness and lack of courtesy and respect. Others because my life changed with sobriety and they didn't, they could no longer fit me in their lives. Other people chose new ways for themselves, and they seem happy now, and I'm happy for them. Some of these things, I talked about step 8 yesterday. Some of these things, like playing the lead role in destroying a relationship due to my own selfishness, lack of courtesy and respect, some of those relationships we can't go back and fix. either it's not appropriate. We learn in the program that going back and addressing these things, if we're going to cause more harm and more pain to somebody, then that's not the right thing to do. And I have a lot of those. So what do I do? I try to do living amends. I try to work towards and be of service to organizations or people that are counteracting what I may have done in the past. But sitting down and thinking about what I had with some of these people and what will never be again aches for me. It aches. And when I hear this song, it really makes that feeling come to the surface. So this would be one of those songs that I don't really listen to because it hurts to listen to it. And I've talked about my fear of abandonment. And here's how it works. If somebody makes a decision that changes anything about the frequency of our ability to see one another, and we have to rely on the phone to talk to each other, then I will typically shut down my feeler. It's like turning off my wanter. This is my feeler. I've started introducing the feeler in these recent episodes. But I will shut down my feeler and I will just stop calling. I won't initiate the phone calls. What I feel like on the inside is that I'm ripping off the Band-Aid, and I believe 100% that I will never have the relationship that I once had. It's over, and I begin to grieve. This has happened more times in my life than I can even list for you. It has happened with people in my life that have no idea that I have felt this way. But I have. And I don't talk about it. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because I know that I'm not the only one. And my addiction therapist of 7 years ago talked to me about this. I talked to her and I listed everybody in my life that this has happened with that left me and never came back. So when anyone leaves now, I retreat first and I end the relationship that I knew before it is ended for me. And I grieve. I seriously grieve. So what is the link between the two? Losing somebody who loses their life and losing somebody because I just stop trying. I don't know. I don't have any profound conclusion to why this song makes me think of both of these, because I guess maybe in both cases, it feels to me like the relationship is forever gone in both, I think that's terrible that I can equate the two. I think of, what my addiction therapist said and helped me to understand is that I'm losing people because I'm not putting forth any effort. I'm expecting it to end. And, when you set expectations, I learned in the program not to set expectations. And I've never really known how to do that, right? But in these cases, I I set myself up for failure. And in all my grief that someone isn't going to want me to stay in their lives, I forget about what I want and what I can do about it. I can't pick up the phone, that's what it feels like. It feels like I can't pick up the phone and fix the problem. I feel like I'm supposed to suffer. It goes back to that same thing I was talking about maybe yesterday and the day before about how I don't deserve it. Why do I think that? Why do I think that I don't deserve that? Just pick up the phone. And the line of the song that says, I would have stayed up with you all night had I known how to save a life. It makes me think about all I would do for someone to keep them. That's the emotions that I feel. I feel, well, I would do anything to keep you in my life. But yet, I do nothing. I do nothing. I have a victim mindset and I do nothing. And I let it go away. I struggle with the reality that sometimes love, intent, and effort can't save people in my life. But if I don't even try, then I'm never going to keep them. They just go away. Because why would somebody want to keep a relationship when you're not putting forth any effort to be in it? So I just feel like it's going to go away because they're not going to do it. Well, no matter what they do, if I'm not putting forth any effort, it's going to go away. It's just going to go away. And it's always been me who had the power to keep people in my life. Those I still have, I must give to. I have to pick up the phone. I have to act. I have to show what I would do for people. In my case, I have to use my voice today, or I'm alone in my own head. And these two guys that I talked about earlier, they were alone in their own heads. I'm sure of that. And the best thing I can do for myself is to use my voice and get it out and not be alone with myself inside my head. I did that the first half of my life. I'm 49 years old. And that's why I'm here. What would I do for you? Like as the listener to the podcast, there's a reason why I'm doing this. It's not just for me. It's not just because I need to get it out of me. It's because I want to try to help somebody else who feels like they're stuck in their own head, that they're alone in their own head. That's why I'm doing this. Because like the song says, I would stay up all night. I would. And over recent months, I've been staying up way too late trying to get my voice out there. And I have to remind myself why I'm doing this. It's to save myself and to help save anybody else that wants to be saved, that's looking to be saved. I've been trying to rein in my hours that I put into this podcast and put online so that I can keep my symptoms down to a 5. And I'm doing pretty good. The only thing that made me go, I did slightly go over a 5 today after I did my vestibular therapy exercises. But as long as that's the only thing that's getting me over a 5, I think I'm good. That just means I have to slow down those also. But anyway, back to the topic. So sometimes the burdens I carry, I can see now, are of my own making. And sometimes, though, they're the weight of other people's choices. And I have to really see that sometimes when when I think back about these gentlemen that I cared so much about, you know, I can't, I can't, think about the regret. My self-talk needs to receive a continuous practice of staying away from shame and regret and guilt to self-compassion. Um, so this is how this song speaks to me. This is a great example of how some of these songs are really, really heavy in my heart. And that's why I try not to play them. But what I'm hoping is by getting this one out there, and I just cried a little bit through it. That was good. I've been telling you guys I haven't been able to cry. So by really sharing about it and getting vulnerable about it, what I'm hoping is tomorrow I'll listen to this song and I'll have a new memory that goes with it. And that is me sharing about it on the podcast, right? After I hear the song, typically I have to take a deep breath. The psychiatrist said that I should let myself sit in it and feel it, let it hurt, and then afterward get up and do something that I enjoy. So I need to learn, forgive myself. It's okay. It's okay if it hurts. Like, I'm beating myself up because I cry when I listen to music. It's okay. I'm just going to listen to it. I'm going to learn how to create new memories with the music and meditate. And these memories that some of these songs bring up they're battles that I couldn't win. But I can carry lessons forward from those. I can carry love, and remember that this is the life that I need to save, mine, and that's what I'm here for, right? So thank you so much for joining me today on the Recovery Daily podcast, and I will talk to you tomorrow.